Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber who had a question, which I covered this question briefly in this week's Q&As, but I really felt this question was good enough to warrant its own video also, so I decided to not really give that much information on it here so I could jump into it later in the week. And he basically asked, look, I'm on a cut. I'm under a lot of stress right now. So much so that I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm sleep deprived. So stress is causing me to lose sleep. Should I end my cut? Should I continue to do my cut? What should I do? So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling up my crafting a little bit and let's talk about this. All right, brother. As most people know who've looked into this at all, stress is an absolute killer. I mean, stress can destroy your gains. Stress can destroy your health. Stress can destroy your life. Stress can kill you young. All right, we know that. People who suffer a lot of stress suffer a lot of chronic medical conditions from it. People who have very stressful lives die younger. Stress will absolutely kill you. Stress affects your heart, everything. It can cause you to have heart attacks. Stress is terrible. In your case, stress is causing you sleep deprivation. Now, what you need to consider here is that when you're cutting is stressful on your body in a physical and sometimes an emotional manner as well. So actual cutting and losing body fat can be stressful to you. And generally people who are losing body fat, they need to do things to mitigate that stress. And that could be anything from just learning to relax more. Getting plenty of exercise, of course, helps because that's a stress reliever. Getting enough sleep, things like that. Because again, when you're losing weight, it puts a taxation on your body. It does tax your body because your body knows it's having to tap into energy reserves. It's having to tap into that, having to tap into your body fat stores because it's not getting enough calories to handle its basic metabolic functions. It's not getting enough calories to handle the activity it's trying to do, and it's having to tap into those stores. That can be stressful on your body. That can negatively impact recovery from your training. It can cause a lot of issues. In fact, losing body weight too fast can actually hurt your immune system. It can make people sick. All sorts of problems. So you're already doing something that can be stressful to your body. Now, if you're overweight, while it's stressful to your body, it's still good for your health. If you're carrying extra body fat, an unhealthy amount, generally the improved health of losing that body fat is going to overshadow the negative effects that the cutting itself might have on you. So much so that it's very, very worth it. It really is. You're so much better off for it because in this case, it's by far the lesser of two evils. Now, the thing that you have to consider, you have a lot to combat when you're cutting body fat. Things like trying to hold on to your muscle mass, to train regularly, to take care of yourself, to make sure you get enough nutrients, enough rest, so that it doesn't negatively impact you in any way. Particularly the loss of muscle mass can be a big deal. Now, here's the thing that you've got to weigh out. You're obviously into fitness. You obviously work out, or you wouldn't be on this channel. You wouldn't be asking fitness questions. When you are losing body fat, holding on to your muscle mass can be one of the most difficult tasks around it. In this case, your lack of sleep, not to mention the stress itself, but the lack of sleep can actually make it be far more difficult to hold on to the muscle mass that you have because your muscle tissue gets bigger and smaller every day. People need to understand that. You gain and lose muscle like a measurable amount in weight probably every single day. A lot of that muscle growth, regrowth that occurs happens while you're sleeping. So if you are not getting enough sleep and enough rest, that alone can cause a net loss of muscle mass sometimes. Now you combine that with the fact that you've reduced your calories. See where this is going? That can also cause a loss of muscle mass. So you've got compiling factors there that can cost you muscle tissue. Well, what about the lack of recovery from the sleep? The lack of recovery from the sleep means you're not going to be able to train as hard, so you're going to stimulate less new muscle growth, which also means that your body is going to have even less reason to hold on to your muscle tissue. You're going to have three compiling factors that are going to cause muscle loss. So in this case, if you continue to do what you're doing, you should expect to lose some muscle mass. It's going to happen. It's unavoidable because you have these other factors in the mix with a cut. You're going to lose muscle, and your metabolism is going to slow down because of it. You're going to have to regain that muscle later. The other thing to weigh in is the stress itself elevates cortisol, the stress hormone. Excessive cortisol can further break down muscle tissue. All right, excessive cortisol can also negatively affect your immune system. So you've got now a fourth factor involved that's going to cost you muscle tissue. So cutting in this situation, if your goal is to maintain muscle mass, it's not going to happen. You're going to lose a lot of muscle. For these four compounding factors are going to cause it because you're sleep deprived due to stress while trying to lose body weight. I'm generally going to recommend that unless you want to lose muscle, you need to go ahead and end this cut for now. Go back to maintenance calories until whatever stressors in your life are back under control enough that you're able to sleep again. And you know, we all are there. Anyone who's going to chime in and say, well, he should just finish it, it couldn't be that bad, you don't fucking know. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. You know what? Everybody is going to have stressful things hit them at some point in their life that could really mess up their sleep, could really mess them up in a lot of ways. There's a lot of stressful things out there, and I don't claim to know what's causing this person's stress, because it could be a dozen totally different types of areas that can cause it. So we don't need to know what's causing it, but what we need to know is that this is enough that he's losing sleep. That's going to seriously mess with things. Now, the unfortunate side is that when you get really stressed like this and can't sleep, some people struggle to get enough quality food in on top of it. So he may not be able to end his cut without eating junk foods and things, which again, also not ideal for coping with stress and lack of sleep. Because, you know, that can exacerbate some of those problems also, eating a bunch of unhealthy foods. So you can find yourself in a very, very difficult situation there as far as even trying to end the cut under a situation like that. So, you know, I would say do the best that you can there. If your goal is not to lose muscle mass and hold on to what you have, you need to find a way to bring your calories back up and end this cut. And that way you can exercise a little bit harder. You know, get a little bit of extra stress out in the gym because you'll have better training fuel. Getting some of that stress out physically through physical activity and then getting enough food to actually recover from some of it might help with your sleep a little bit. You know, get a little more carbs before bed. That increases melatonin. All right, so this is something you need to look into. Go ahead and up your calories back to maintenance. If you find yourself in the situation, get you a nice big carb meal before bed. That can increase melatonin production, help you sleep, help get this situation back under control. And the extra training you'll be able to do can also be a stress relief because you're eating more food, you'll recover better, you can get in and train a little better. All right, these are things that you can do to help mitigate this because right now, cutting is only going to exacerbate this situation. When you're dealing with stressful stuff, maybe it's something that you don't have the ability to control in your life, but in that case, you can control how you respond to it. So changing your diet and training a little bit to help you cope with that through some of the methods I just described can help the way that you respond to that stress. Because we do have choices to some extent of how we allow stressors in our life to make us feel. And it's not to say that that devalues what you're going through. I mean, it could be something very serious. I mean, his mother could be terminally ill and be dying. He could have some sort of legal problems this coming. He could have been falsely accused of a major crime and have a trial coming up. I mean, we don't know what people are going through, and those are terrible, terrible things. But we can control to some extent how we let them affect us through our behaviors. We can allow our behaviors to change our emotions and bring our stress levels down to a more manageable level sometimes. Can't always do that, but you can do things that will help a little bit. And you know, if you're losing sleep over something, every little thing that you can do helps because you've got to do something at that point. And so that's what I'm going to recommend. And on top of that, you know, your health is important at this point too. This isn't just about keeping muscle mass. Cutting and losing body weight elevates cortisol. All right. Stress elevates cortisol, the stress hormone. Lack of sleep elevates cortisol. Not getting enough calories to recover from training elevates cortisol. That elevated cortisol and stress hormones can negatively affect your immune system. You can find yourself starting to get sick physically because of this. So this combination of factors, you know, it's not good. You need to rebalance things back out and try to get your life back in balance with your diet and training and everything, rather than continue to do things that are going to make it worse, like continuing to try to cut right now. Go back on maintenance calories, get those extra carbs in, the things that are going to help you bring those stress hormones back down, help you sleep better. Because if you, again, whatever you're going through or what anyone's going through in a situation like this, the last thing you want to be doing is restricting calories and be losing weight at that point. It's not going to help you in any way. It's going to make it worse and it can make you sick. So, yeah, you need to end the cut. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.